Welcome back to You Decide. We give you facts, information, and analysis. I'm so glad you're still watching. We have a completely new set of people on the set right now. We have all the way from Belgium, the former chairman of NAIDO in Europe, and he is here with us live. Is Mr. Collins Nweke. He has been a councillor in a municipal in Belgium, and that makes you speak French, isn't it?
Not really, no. I am in the Flemish-speaking part of
Belgium. Flemish.
Yeah, that's
that
where my
is
constituency
Antwerp
is.
side, or
Antwerp area is part of the Flemish region, but I'm from Ostend, West Flanders.
Ostend, okay. So what language do you speak there?
Dutch.
Oh, Dutch.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I wanted to say bonjour, but how do you say good morning?
Everybody understands bonjour. Goeiedag.
Oh, goeiedag. Well, you understand. Collins, we're very happy you are here.
It's a pleasure.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
And to England. And we'll be discussing more while you are in England.
Indeed.
Well, we have the latest author in town. He's a political commentator. He's been around for several years in England here. And today he's come up with his latest project. It's a book authored by him himself, Gustin Azu. Gustin, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Doctor. Good morning, viewers.
And of course, our in-house political analyst, as suggested, Dr. Tunde, you're welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning.
Let's start with Collins, all the way from Belgium, and you've been the chairman of NAIDO Europe, and you just left that position. Now, we want you to tell us, what has NAIDO contributed to us as diasporans, Nigerians in diaspora? What has NAIDO contributed to us? What will NAIDO contribute to us in future or even now?
Mm-hmm. Well, for a start, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be back here. Yeah. Yes, like you mentioned, I've just completed my term of office as chairman of NAIDO Europe, which is actually a crown to a 10-year engagement.
10 years?
10 years, starting off as executive secretary, responsible for the headquarters of NAIDO here in London, with 19 chapters for a diaspora constituency of estimated 6-7 million Nigerians. Core business, of course, being impacting on the developmental aspirations of Nigeria from the diaspora vantage point. I went on to become the General Secretary, which was a board position, doubling also as a European Union representative, taking advantage of my location in Belgium, and then ending it up in the past 2 years as chairman of the Board of Trustees.
Okay.
So it's been a journey, a very fascinating one. And
what do I benefit from NAIDO, being a diaspora, a Nigerian diaspora? What should I expect to benefit from NAIDO, whether I'm a member or not?
Yeah. Well, what you will benefit is that you will have a robust platform to contribute your expertise towards Nigeria's development.
Okay.
Now, let me say this up front. Where NAIDO distinguishes itself from the rest of the organization is that it is a platform to serve. It is not necessarily a platform to directly benefit. Rather, by serving, there might be one or two side attractions, as we like to call it, in terms of engaging with Nigeria economically, politically, and otherwise. But the main goal is using your position as a diaspora who happens to live in places where things are done differently, some like to say better, and using that as a platform, to contribute to national development. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, you are in London for a purpose,
yeah.
A powerful purpose. Can we hear what you are here for?
Yeah. Indeed. Post-NAIDO period, I am devoting a good chunk of my time to promoting issues around youth empowerment. on this specific occasion, I am in London promoting an initiative called Youth Against Political Violence.
Youth Against Political Violence.
Yes. This is a coalition of civil society organizations in Nigeria, but also with the intention of coming out here in the diaspora to engage with the diaspora. One of the gentlemen, who is anchoring the program, also linked to the presidency of Nigeria, is in town here in London, having series of meetings and essentially drumming up support for the program. So I was approached, and essentially I needed just a second to throw my weight behind the program. And so what I'm doing essentially is talking to friends and associates about it and getting them to.
How do you intend to reach out these youth in Nigeria, youth against political violence? How do you intend to reach them and say, hey, especially in Rivers State, where we understand there is a chaos going on right now, those for and against Rotimi Amici, there is a youth violence in the making. How do you want to reach out to them?
The reaching out has already started. Take, for example, the National Association of Nigerian Students. It's one of the core partners in this project. I had a meeting with them in Abuja at the Foreign Office last week, and I was gratified to see how engaged these young stars are. Bustling with energy, bustling with ideas. Now, series of information sessions are planned, workshops, targeting the youth and, giving them political education. And I'm looking forward actually to, reading some of those political strategies that
yes, Collins, I have one serious question to ask. Why should the adults in Nigeria be creating the environment for political violence and the youths mopping it up? Because your campaign is Youth Against Political Violence. But who are those creating the environment for political violence? The elderly ones, as we have seen right now. Yesterday in the House of Reps, they nearly fought one another physically. They've done that before. And they create, because of their self-serving attitude, and create an environment for violence. Now, the youths are the one to mop it up and say, no, we will not fight. Why can't we say youth for leadership? And why should the youth be mopping up their own excesses?
Youth, it's not a question of this or that. It's a question of this and that. Now, youth for leadership sounds great, and indeed, I don't see why that shouldn't be an initiative running side by side, youth against political violence.
How about adults against political violence?
Absolutely, because the focal point is the youth, because these are the people that are being used for political thuggery and all sorts of vices. Now, the message is loud and clear. Say no to political violence. Don't let anybody use you as thugs because you are better than that. Now, once you sell that message to the youth, he gets it, it goes inside him, he is now empowered to be able to resist all the overtures. Now, also to the adults who are using these youths as tools, the message is very clear, because all the political leaders of all the political parties in Nigeria are also being mobilized to say, sorry, but the game is over.
Okay.
Because these youths are no longer going to take it. And the youths will be talking to them directly, telling them that, sorry, we're not going to have this anymore.
Before the end of the program, we'll be asking you to tell us more about this
absolutely.
Youth Against Political Violence. Let me ask our in-house political analyst, Dr. Tunde Idowu, who has his PhD from LSE. How do you think the youth should be mobilized for now? Is it for them to checkmate the excesses of their fathers and grandfathers so that they will not be used against violence? Or they say, hey, we don't need all of you anymore because you've not given us the expected position after spending a lot of money. Which way should we train their thinking?
Well, it will take a whole of a generation to answer that question, but let me start with some of the things that when I was an undergraduate, I read about political violence in Nigeria. I think now Professor Reniani Fowoshe wrote a book about political violence in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And as far back as 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s.
Yeah, that was his PhD thesis.
Yeah,
actually.
Political violence has been an issue in Nigeria. And the fundamental question, if I had to ask, Collins something, is that it should be the other way around. It should be the politicians against political violence, not the youth, because it's the politicians themselves that create the environment, the enabling environment, albeit a negative one, a perceived one, to the youth to be mobilized for political violence. I mean, if you conduct an election here in the United Kingdom or you conduct an election in Belgium, how many youth are participating in political violence in those countries? So you have to think about what are the conditions and the environment that make it possible for these youth to be engaging in violence, political violence. And this political violence are not just being propagated by the youth, started by the pronouncement and the rhetoric of the politicians. And the other thing is the unemployment among the youth. If they have nothing to engage, I mean, how many Nigerians youth that are fully engaged? About maybe 60 or 70% of Nigerian youth are underemployed graduates now. Now the question then is, what are they going to do? What are the alternatives means that we engage them productively? Politics become the only environment. Which professions, which engagement are they going to engage in? It's politics. And when the reward for politics is so high, definitely it becomes a do or die affair. Okay,
Godson, you've been watching the matters in Rivers State and Ekiti State, albeit on different platforms. In Rivers State, Jonathan has been having challenges, and in Ekiti State, it's been between Okwemi Bamdele and Fayemi, who want to contest election again. Now, and there is violence in these two states. How do you think Collins' organization can help in these two states?
Well, I think the agenda has been set by the Youth Against Political Violence by Collins and his other colleagues. It's a very laudable idea, and I like Dr. Idowu have said earlier on, it should be an issue whereby we look at the relation between the politicians and the political violence, rather than the youth against political violence. We must be able to address the basics, the causes for political violence, and why the youths are being drafted into the affirmative action of it. Because before the youths get involved, there must be a plan, procedure. Who sets the plan? Who sets the agenda? It is the politicians that set the agenda. They set the motion. Then they now draft the youth. So how do we now get the youth out of this whole thing? Is by getting the youth involved and engaged in positive actions, in positive process of life. Giving them the benefits of a good citizenry, good job, good educational system, good opportunity to livelihood, and as such, that will reduce. It doesn't mean if a youth knows that he has to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and go to his business or his job,
very good job.
He wouldn't be interested in what the politician is saying or dictating to do. Here, if the youths here wake up to know that he has to go to school, that his parents has to pay, or he has to pay 25,000 loan after finishing, then he leaves the school and start going to riot for a politician. I don't see, there's no benefit. So I believe it's a loud thing, but at the same time, as you're dealing with the youth, also deal with the politicians, because there's no way you can resolve this issue without the politicians getting involved.
Do you want to respond quickly?
Absolutely.
We have a caller. We have so many callers on this issue. So,
well, like I said earlier, it's not a matter of this or that. It's a matter of this and that and that. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, it is very obvious that as you target the youths, okay, to empower them with information, to empower them to be assertive, to be able to resist all the overtures, of course, it's not an exclusive action. You also have to reach out to the adults, to say, sorry, but this game is over. You can't continue to use these youngsters anymore. But then, you need to make these youngsters strong by letting them understand that they are better tools than political talking. Yes, of course. The reality of the day is that there is high unemployment. But this high unemployment is not something you are going to get away tomorrow. While that is happening, you also need to work on the youngsters while a lot or anything at all is being
done. Collins, we'll be asking for your modus operandi because the 65% of Nigerians are youth. Yes. They are under 35.
Absolutely. 65%.
And we were 160 million, so we're talking of about 100 million plus.
Sure.
And how do you now reach them? The illiterate, the graduates, the non-graduates. So how much do you have? So that we need to know, so that we can see how we can help you. But let me take on the caller. Peju, hello. Hello, Peju. Hello. Are you still there? Is Peju still on the line? Well, our telephone number is on the line. If you want to reach us on this issue, what Collins has brought from Belgium is a very...
Hello?
Hello, yes, Peju.
I'm still very much here, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you very much for calling. What do you say to what Collins is telling us to help the youth in Nigeria against political violence?
Yes, when you talk about... youth against political violence, I think it's something that's still that's an idea that is like light years away, because the political situation in Nigeria is still so very much in the hands of the recycled politicians. And we all know what I'm talking about here. It's always about these people from time immemorial. So I believe one of the ways we can empower our youth is maybe something called Youth for Political Power. Just like it is obtainable in the country we live here, in the UK, for instance, they start training the youth from age 16
That's true.
to hold political offices. They have youth parliaments, and then they grow from there. They become councillors, they become MPs, and they grow. It's a process. But in Nigeria, we don't have political ideologies, no political principles. We see all our politicians just crossing from one party to another just for their own personal gain. So the youth do not even know. As long as there is money involved, and the statistics about unemployment in Nigeria is so staggering. So the youth would always, for those that cannot go into kidnapping or robbery, they would rather go into political thuggery. But one of the ways I still maintain is to start empowering them from the onset to be able to hold responsible political positions in power. That is the only way we can get rid of political thuggery, and that is the only way we can get rid of the recycled people in politics.
Peju, don't go. How do you respond to Peju? Peju said that we need a process, and our political system has no processing.
No.
I cannot agree more with Peju. As a matter of fact, Peju has just summarized what this campaign is all about, but in different ways, and maybe in a more articulate manner. Now, she's used the word empowerment.
Yes.
And she's also told us that one of the ways you do this is by political education. Well, this is what this campaign is all about. Give the youths information, but also organize workshops, to let them understand how much power that they have and how much they can be political leaders by taking concrete actions. Now, I must say that there are series of, regional information sections planned. There are a series of, workshops that are planned in all the 6 geopolitical zones. We are also, working with a youth organization from the Student Organization Youth Leadership Forum, faith institutions, faith leaders that are youths, and so on and so forth. So it's a multifaceted campaign. And,
well, let me add a few.
Thank you very much, Peju. All right,
let me add a few lines. I think what Peju was trying to say is that the way you frame an issue makes a big of difference. See, by implication of the word against violence, suggest something slightly different. If you frame it in a positive way, if you develop, it's not just about workshops, it's not about seminars. Like in the United Kingdom, Pedro mentioned UK Youth Parliament. I mean, I don't want to go personal. My daughter has just been elected into the UK and the Parliament, starting from the Youth Parliament from the Kent County Council. Now, they will go through the process. The basis is that you begin to not just only educating the youth, you begin to inculcate certain political values and education into them. Like, for instance, if you really want to take it big, why don't you, or the president or whoever, say, okay, in the next 6 months, we want to establish youth parliament in the UK.
the youth of whatever age, INEC to conduct the election, you take them through the process. You begin to inculcate political education into them, not by seminars or workshops. You do something concrete that the youth themselves
that will upturn their own children. That will defeat their children from occupying their posts when they have left. No. When you look at the number of governors who want to replace themselves with their sons, and then you will now know that what you are saying will be antithetical to their position. For instance, we have in different states where the children want to be the governor. So if you go through what you are saying, which is good, which is right, then you upset the politicians above. Collins, what do you say?
Well, you see, sometimes I just have the feelings that we out here in the diaspora are completely drawn away from the reality.
Okay.
I mean, let's not just look at what is happening here in the UK or in Belgium and believe that because they are working here, automatically, these are the things that are going to work in Nigeria. Let me also make one point. I do not want to claim ownership of this campaign. No, I didn't initiate it. I was called upon to support it, and I am supporting it. Now, what I do when I come into a situation of this nature is not to tear down the structure that they have already put in place. Simply, I look at where I come in to make better what they are doing and support them from my own perspective.
Collins, let me tell you what this discussion is all about. This discussion is making, if you like, constructive criticism to make your position sharper, better, acceptable to the people in diaspora and at home. So we're not allowing you to just present it and go. We are contributing. So
and I love that.
So that's
absolutely.
If I may correct one impression,
please do.
I believe that if we all are very aware of the political outcomes within the last 15 years in Nigeria, we could remember that there has been an establishment of the Nigerian Youth Parliament, which one of the key leaders, when it was first inaugurated, was this our young boy who left here,
Dayo
Israel, was one of the first president or speaker of the Nigerian Youth Parliament when it was fully well established. And that parliament is still existing to today. So it doesn't mean that Nigeria doesn't have that system. The system is in place. It's only about being able to use it for the right purpose of establishing it. Most of the children or youth who went through that parliament are nowhere to be found in the political structure of Nigeria today.
So what happened?
It's just about what I'm just trying to reiterate what you're saying. That most of our recycled politicians always want people within their system, rather than allowing the system that is being created to produce future leaders of the country. They now kind of hijack the system.
It's just like our under 17 football club.
So you will never see them.
You will not go to Green Super Eagles.
No, they will not
get
to
Super Eagles. So you end up your career where
somehow we kill our children.
So that's the parliament is there. There is one for Africa. There is the youth parliament for Africa. You understand? So the system is there. It's just about our politicians being able to allow these systems and structures.
Okay. It's part of the
absolutely.
But something to make you happy.
Yes.
We have this from Dr. Kola Akindele.
Okay.
He says, I must thank Mr. Collins for the efforts he's doing, and it's commendable. Indeed, our youths must be educated against political violence and need to learn that they are indeed the losers of these uncivilized acts being perpetrated by our selfish politicians. So that should make you happy that people like you. We have a caller, Adi. Hello, Adi. Hello, Adi. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Johnson.
Good morning. Where are you calling from, sir?
Yeah, calling from London here.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good morning to your panelists here.
Good morning, Adi.
Yeah, I would like to direct my comment and question to Azu. Because
go on.
now he's supporting the youth in the course of Nigeria setting now. So my question to Azu is this. 2 years ago, when Bamanga Tuko was appointed PDP chairman, I took him up and I asked him one question, that why did PDP believe Bamanga Tuko at his age then, about 76 then, is the best person for the job? And I asked him himself that, don't he think he himself is qualified enough to be PDP chairman? And now today, Bamanga Tuko is kicked out of PDP. Now, he's now advocating for youth against violence in Nigeria, which part of the divide does it belong to? Is it an elder statesman, or is it a youth, or is it in the middle? We want to know which part of it does it belong to. Thank you.
Azu, in one statement. In one statement, Azu.
This is, you want me to shoot myself in the foot here. Well, I belong to the next generation. And the next generation, when I mean next generation, it means the next generation to take up what I call politically elected positions.
Okay, I'll give you more chance to answer that when we return from a break. I understand we must go on break right now. Ben Television is the most watched television station on issues from Africa and around the world, and we'd just like to go on break. And when we return, we'll be discussing these issues and more. We'll be talking about Okorocha and Tinubu, and we'll also be discussing about the author of this book, Campaign Strategies for Political Success. There are very many things in the pipeline. Don't go away while we return to you.
MoneyGram is here to help. That's why we offer fast and affordable money transfers around the world to bring you closer to the ones you love. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Just made importing and exporting of goods from the UK to Nigeria and other parts of the world as easy as ABC. Offering a no-excuse policy, we have a next-day delivery to Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt on our courier services and 3 to 5 working days on our door-to-door cargo services. We offer express 3 to 4 day courier services to various destinations in Nigeria and simply deliver smiles worldwide. So, who are we? Rousey International. Choose us for a door-to-door service, customs clearance, and worldwide sea and air freights. With offices across the continent, you can be assured that there will be no waiting game and no stories. Give us a ring today or visit our website. Do away with the stress. Let Rousey International handle it. Go on, call now 0208-890-8800. We are waiting.
We've arrested Mr. Basket for assaulting a police officer. Among other things, we're taking him down to the station where he'll be held in custody until further notice. That's all I need to say.
Basket Mouth Uncensored is live in Manchester. Valentine's Day, February 14th. Birmingham, February 15th. London, February 16th. For tickets and info, visit cocobar.com or call 0208 953 1219.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Welcome to You Decide. We've been looking at how to make Nigerian youths move on and how to empower them. And we have with us 3 gentlemen that have been looking at it. Collins Nweke, all the way from Belgium, Gostina Azu here with us in England, and an in-house political analyst. And there are so many issues to be discussed within the next 25 minutes or so. There have been many states in Nigeria with messy issues. In Ogun State, there have been some clashes among in-house politicians within APC. In Rivers State, in clashes between PDP members and PDP members versus APC members. In Ekiti State, there have been clashes between ex-APC members versus APC members, and now Labour Party versus APC. I mean, there have been clashes all over the place, and we thank Collins coming from all the way from Belgium to say, look, there is an antidote to all these clashes, and we will continue discussing that one. We also will be looking at President Jonathan, who has put up 12 names for the Senate to consider so that they can be the next ministers that we'll have. And by the way, just in case you have traveled outside of this earth, Bamanga Tuko is no longer the chairman of PDP, but is now the chairman of Nigerian Railway Corporation. And so we expect that the trains will be moving faster right now. We've always preferred that one because a Kano to Lagos by train is taking over 2 days. You have to cook your jollof rice and some pounded yam and warm it and pick up your microwave while you are traveling from Lagos to Kano. Anyway, let's take on a caller who's been willing to call in. We're talking about empowering the youth in Nigeria and stopping them from being used as the violent ones. Yes, Tony. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Tony again. Thank you very much for the discussion. I wanted to discuss this issue of youth as violence and
yes, go on, please.
Okay, personal. You were just mentioning Bamanga Tuko. Bamanga Tuko is about 80 years of age. He has been PDP chairman. He was relieved last week of that position and is made the chairman of NRC. I knew Bamanga Tuko. I've been hearing that name since I was in primary school. And you're talking of youth empowerment. At the very highest order of Nigerian government, that's the president, they're making one man the god of Nigeria. That man has been governor of Gongola State. He's been chairman of MPA. He's been minister. He's been everything. And at 80, they're still making him NRC chairman. What railway station is he going to run? This is church age, technology, ICT age. And you're talking about youth. 40% of the youth population graduates have no jobs. And you're recycling one old man after another. And you find out that the son is probably going to be the governor of Gongola State after he leaves that place.
Adama, you mean?
Where are the jobs? What empowerment are you giving? This is the presidency. Jonathan is a disappointment as far as I'm concerned. Anemi is still there. Anemi is the board of trustees chair of PDP. He has been.
Well, the argument of the elderly ones in Nigeria is that when does age stop you from doing the best for your country? That's their argument. And I've listened to them many times. They said there are so many young ones who are very corrupt. They are in their 40s and they are occupying positions. And they have said that there are very many young ones who are in their 50s from the press. It's the issue. It's the issue. You are talking about elders. You are talking about the age. It's the issue. That's their position.
Personally, I think it's a daft argument. Daft argument, from...
the matter is, if you are saying because the young people are corrupt, I mean, that's just a selected portion. There are 40-something million youths who have no job. You're picking up Tompolo or picking up one or two isolated cases of corruption. There are so many good ones who are not given the opportunity. What do? They either die or become a kidnapper or become an armed robber. They have no choice.
Okay.
I think we discussing this issue like Ade said earlier on. 2 years ago we talked about 2 years ago we talked about Bamanga issue. What my argument then was that if you talk about leadership, party structure leadership, you do expect that parties should be led by people who have experienced politics for a long time, people who have been in the game. But when you talk about leading the nation or the state, then you look for our young generation leaders to be given the opportunity to become governors, to become president, to become senators, to become House of Rep members. And I will say to date, according to statistics, from 1999 to date, the elective positions in Nigeria has been occupied by about 65-70% youths. From local government council, to local government councillor, to state House of Assembly, to state governors, to Senate and the rep, and even the president, apart from Obasanjo, to date, have been produced by those who are between the age of 35 and 50.
Okay.
35 and 50. So we have to go to the statistics and record and look at what has these people achieved in their period of leadership, because it is leadership by example we are looking for. If we are carrying 45 million Nigerians can never be governors at the same time, can never be Senate president at the same time, can never be councillors at the same time. It's opportunities by opportunities. If we begin to learn the spirit of political tolerance, everybody will have an opportunity right from the grassroots. 776 local governments in Nigeria can produce well over 7,000 jobs in the councils in Nigeria. 300 and something House of Rep. We produce jobs every year for the youth, and the youth are occupying these spaces. It's about now, how do we assess between 1999 to date, how many of those youths who had the opportunity to be in the House, in the state, in the federal, in the local government, has been a fundamental change, have brought about fundamental change in the way people think about politics?
You want to answer that question?
So people should
what was the challenge there?
Well, the challenge is how did so-called youth, or who are now the political leader, how did they come in to become elected politicians in the first place?
What ladder did they use?
Because you have to think about the route, you have to think about the challenge, you have to think about the vehicle. Most of them are either political dynasty or family. I mean, if you look at most of the local government chairman, they are either the friend of or the son of one of the politicians in the state. Now, if you look at, at the state,
either the spiritual son or the biological son.
So you have to think about, you have to look about the enabling environment, and that's why the issue of the youth parliament is very important. See, if they have killed the Nigerian youth parliament, it means that they have denied certain segments of the Nigerian, youth the opportunity do not have the means to be able to learn political culture and to go through the system. Unfortunately, the system is not allowing people that do not have the money or the godfather to operate.
I'm coming back to you, Collins, to respond to all these things. Emmanuel. Yes, hello, Emmanuel.
Dr. Johnson, good morning.
Good morning. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I said hello to the guy from Belgium, Dr. Tunde, and
Gosson.
Mr. Azu.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I say hello to them.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have to make two contributions to your discussion. And one is on the issue of youth to say no to violence. And then the second one is the issue of elder statesmen still in service in Nigeria.
Quickly.
Number one point is I think the youth to stop engaging themselves in violence should be looked down on the political structures of the country. If they got it right, if the politicians got it right, all this will stop. I don't think they've gotten it right at this point of time. And that is why you see, because if you watch what happened in the House of Assembly yesterday, it's a shame, it's a disgrace to our country. If I will put it in that way, it's really a shame that they resumed, and then what we are seeing is fracas in the House. Then if the youth are seeing this, what do you expect them to do? I think the best way is if the Constitution is enacted in such a way that all this rubbish will stop. People will be responsible. People will be disciplined to themselves. You understand me?
Okay.
No matter the type of structure you set in Nigeria, we know the type of country we are. You understand? The point is that the elders, the politicians themselves have to show good example, and that's all.
All right.
The only way for that good example is strong constitution. And then my second victim on the elder statesmen still in service. I don't think anything is wrong if they are mentally alert and capable of trying to pass a good leadership.
But we have all judged them to be corrupt because most of the money have been siphoned by them. And that's the challenge we have, is the spirit of corruption they are passing on to the younger ones. I mean, over the years, everybody in Nigeria, there has been saying corruption, corruption, corruption. Nobody is saying let's stop it, let's stop it, let's stop it. And that's the challenge. And therefore, these younger ones are being made to receive that spirit of corruption. And what do you say to that, Emmanuel? Well, we lost Emmanuel there. Yeah. We have to continue. I have in front of me, and I don't know if camera can zoom on this wonderful book titled Campaign Strategies for Political Success. This is a book written for all nations, how to win elections, the strategies for winning elections. It says the art of winning political election in Nigeria and around the world by no only other person but Gosson O. Azu. Azu, this is a book put forward by you, and I've been privileged to read through it, and many other people have gone through it, and I'm also privileged to write the foreword. And one of the things I wrote here is that contesting election is exciting, but winning an election is exhilarating. And I recommend this book for all to all for the political development of Nigeria so that there will be no political violence. Godson, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. What do you have? What did you write in this book?
Well, basically what I wrote in the book is about being able to get Nigerian politicians to understand that there is a structure by which you can be able to put your campaign strategies across, or put your campaign plans and campaign programs together to avoid this issue of thuggery and youth violence. Also helps politicians to understand that you can organize people in a very decent and positive way to be able to have a decent and positive engagement with the community in terms of disseminating your information, getting them to understand what you have for them. I mean, looking at it from the point of view of the developed world campaign process. When you see politicians or parties campaigning here, either in the UK or in America or in Germany, which is part of the models by which I wrote the book, you find out that you don't hear people fighting each other. Or party opponents fighting each other, or throwing their banners or flags, or people going to tear other parties' posters, or pasting things on other parties' posters. Yeah, no. Campaign are organized structurally.
Okay.
Yeah. So we need to follow that process.
You are contesting election right now. Yes. You want to be councillor for Brentford. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yes.
So are you going to use some of the strategies you have?
Of course, I'm practicalizing what I put there.
So you are telling fellow politicians, and of course, I'm not to be asking you questions about your electoral plans and gains, but it's just interesting that you are telling those who will buy this book, if they want to buy this book, where can they get it to buy?
Well,
is it online?
The book is going to be online on Amazon. It's going to be on Amazon very soon. It's going to be on other online book marketing sites, which is already being worked on at the moment. You can also get it probably at the end of the day on Ben Television website.
Okay.
We're working on all those things at the moment. The book just came out last week, Thursday.
Okay.
So
it's hot.
It's hot. So we're going to be launching it soon.
The book is titled Campaign Strategies for Political Success, either here in UK or in Nigeria, especially for the youths who don't have parental ladder to get to the political scene.
Right.
And I see you have so many people recommending you for this, and your party is the All People's Party.
Yes. It's a new party.
Well, maybe we
have a new independent party in the UK.
Let's listen to the parties as they merge in Nigeria. Watch this clip. It's about Ashiwaju and Okorocha and all the APC men, and we'll then talk about it. But watch this clip about Tinubu and Okorocha. Well, you've seen that clip, and it's like there is cordiality between Okorocha and Tinubu, and there is the divide, as it were, between the Igbos and the Yorubas have melted for the sake of election in 2015. Will this be your correct assessment, Collins?
Well, I mean, earlier this morning, I had an interview with one of the Nigerian newspapers, and I believe that one of the questions that was asked was also ethnicity and the political divide between the different ethnic group. I mean, my reaction has been consistent on this. I do not believe that the ethnic divide in Nigeria is really as much as our politicians and the media people would like to make it look like. What the clip that we have seen here between Tinubu and Okorocha is, for me, nothing exceptional. That is essentially how it has to be, cordiality. Because in politics, like Azu would like to tell us, we don't have permanent enemies. What do we have?
permanent
interest, you know. So it is nothing exceptional. Maybe in Nigeria it is exceptional, but, you know, certainly this sort of situation should be encouraged.
Defections from APC to PDP, PDP to APC, what do you say?
Well, personally, I have a very serious issue with defection. Politics has to be about ideologies, but unfortunately in Nigeria, there don't seem to be a very clear-cut, you know, line between the political parties in terms of their ideologies. But, okay, that's the reality of the Nigerian situation. It is essentially opportunism. That is another word for politics in Nigeria is opportunism. So ideology simply doesn't exist. So for them, it doesn't matter crossing from one political party to the other.
Will you say that the clip we've just seen is the beginning of a movement between Southwest and Southeast for 2015?
Well, it might be the beginning for 2015, but as a student of history, if you go back in the First Republic, I mean, there was a realignment between the Northern People's Congress or Northern People's Party, you know, and the NEPU in the, you know, and I think Akintola's party in the Southwest.
Yes.
And then there was a realignment between the AG, the action group in the Southwest, and the other party, you know, in the Southeast, NCNC in the East. So also in the Second Republic, you find out that by the tail end of 1982, 83,
we have PPA.
You have the PPA, you have the, you know, UPN merging with the NPP and the host of alignment. So in terms of what is happening now, it's more or less going back to, you know, the history. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily understand our history. And then, you see, what makes those history slightly different from now is that those parties were based on some fundamental principles. Just like Colin was saying, you know what the NPC of the old or the UPN stood for. But the question is, what does the PDP stand for? What does the APC stand for? What are the programs and the values they are going to inculcate? What is the agenda for 2020 in Nigeria? What is the positions of Nigeria in the world according to this party in 250? International community are talking about Nigeria as part of the meet. Are the political parties even looking at this? You know, how are they going to position Nigeria to be able to provide electricity, to be able to provide water 24/7? We are not talking about 10 hours or 12 hours because that is ridiculous. If a government is promising Nigerian 18 hours electricity, that is below par. Nigeria is not expected to have power below 24 hours because that is the
time is just not on our side. Azu, what's your last take for today?
Well, I believe that what is being shown there at the moment is a kind of a political gimmick by the two political chameleons we have in Nigeria today. Two of them are key political chameleons we have in Nigeria. For our information, their party, I do not know where they stand. But for me, I know that PDP is a conservative party in Nigeria. The only thing is for the leaders within the party to begin to portray the interests and the ideology of a conservatism in Nigerian politics.
Thank you, Gossin. Collins, your last take, because time is not on our side.
Well, I'm very happy to hear Azu defining PDP as a conservative party. That is new to me. And
it's new to me as well.
Good luck to them. I hope that the leaders of PDP will agree with you.
Yeah, of course.
Because there are signs that they too don't essentially know where they stand. You know. So, but in any case, this is encouraging that political parties
against political violence.
Youth against political violence, like Azu has described it, and I'm borrowing eloquently from Azu's word, it's laudable. I am reaching out to every well-meaning Nigerian in Nigeria and in diaspora to support this. I mean, like I said, it's this, and this. It is not this or that. Youth leadership, youth parliament, these are all youth empowerment.
Providing ladder to move into the political
Absolutely, so that youth shun political violence in the run-up to 2015.
Well, as we end today's show, we want to say that Gossin Azu, who has been on the political scene here in London for several years, has written this book titled Campaign Strategies for Political Success, and he himself is contesting an election in Brentford. It's not my position to say vote for him, but it's my position to say that I've worked with him several years, and I know his passion in the area of contesting and winning elections, and he has won election as the secretary or assistant secretary of Bakers Union here in UK. So here he goes, baking bread for the rest of us. My name is Sheku Johnson. Until next week, the program has been You Decide.